Good morning, everyone. Welcome back again to Operation Management. Today we are going to talk about the transformation system design. Um, in our first chapter, we have already discussed about the production system, or sometimes we call it conversion process. Today we are going to basically focus on this element that is the transformation system, and it's going to be the design of the transformation system. This chapter is going to be divided into two parts. The first part is about the transformation system, and the second part will be about the layout analysis. For the second part, we are going to continue next week. For the first part, the transformation system design is the way that we consider all alternative transformation system, the form of the transformation system. And we may have we will explain you five major form of the transformation system, and the differences between different one, each form of the transformation system, and the best, and you need to select the appropriate one to for you to get the desired output. The output that will be delivered by each system could be efficiency, effectiveness, capacity, lead time, or flexibility. And in the next week, we are going to talk about the layout analysis, which we are going to find the good layout that will give you lowest cost or give you the effectiveness that could be the output in terms of quality, lead time, or flexibility of the operations. Here is the benefit of good layout that we are going to focus in next week. That is, if your system has a good layout, you could reduce costs by shorter travel distance, facilitate staff interaction, and maybe sometimes you need less space requirement and shorter lead time. Lead time, this word in industrial engineering, we are talking about the time to complete some job. For instance, suppose we normally talk about the production lead time. Here you prepare the raw material, and once the raw material start the first production, okay, that is the first operation in the production process. It's become work in progress, and once it's complete all the operation that they are required, they will become finished good. The time during this process, okay, the time during the its production process is going to call production lead time. Okay, so the lead time is basically the time to complete some job, or the time to do something. We are going to talk about five forms of the transformation system. The first form is the continuous process. For the continuous process, we are going to talk about the system that produce highly standardized product in extremely large volume. Okay, I highlight the keyword. Okay, I highlight the keyword that you need to memorize, because it is the main characteristic of the system. And the way they produce in extremely large volume. But for the continuous process, the raw material is fluid, work in progress is fluid, and the output is still fluid, like this one. Okay, raw mat, whip, and output, liquid or fluid. This is the continuous process. Okay, we are talking about the if you are the Pepsi or Coca-Cola producer, the water inside is the come from the continuous process. For the flow shop, the second form of the transformation system is the flow shop. For the flow chart, this process produce discrete, not the fluid, discrete. This is the difference between flow chart and continuous system. But they also produce standardized output on a continuous basis. Okay, the difference between continuous and flow chart is discrete. The similarity between these two is they produce standardized output. Normally, the flow chart normally called assembly line or mass production. You can find the flow chart in realized in the part manufacturing or automobile industry. Okay, here the raw material discrete, okay, and whip between this one and the final process is discrete, and the output is discrete, right? This is the characteristic of the flow chart. Sometimes we call it assembly line, and the way they produce in mass, so sometimes it's called mass production. The next one, okay, the next one that we are always talk about, that is the job shop. Job shop always focus on the way they produce, that is they offer a wide variety of product. Normally they produce in a batch. Batch is mean a bunch of the products. Okay, so since they produce the variety of output, normally they produce one of a kind. Okay, you order the product, they produce it for you. Okay, that is one of the kind product. And sometimes we call this process produce customized product or even personalized product for you. So they need a very high skilled worker. Okay, very high skilled worker. Car repair shop is a form of the job shop. Okay, so for the job shop, you will divide the factory into several departments, in which department consists of the similar type of equipment and the skilled worker in that department. Okay, and because they produce variety of the product, so each product may require different production process. For instance, suppose you look at the first product, A63. First they go to shipping, and the production process requirement require that the first operation will go to department G, and then B, and then E, and then C, F, and finish at shipping. This is the routing of product A63. And if you look at another product that is produced by the same factory, that is B5, you can see that the routing is different. Why? Because customer order different product. Customer want the shop or customer want manufacturer to produce different kind of product. So different kind of product need different kind of process. Therefore, the routing of the product may be different for the job shop. And the cellular shop, okay, cellular shop, sometimes they say they call this kind of the factory as the focus factory, or sometimes it's called factory in a factory or small factory in a factory. So they divide factory into small cell or small facility to produce families of a product. Okay, this one, okay, one factory is divided into different parts, and each part will consist of a small cell. Okay, this cell number 1, cell number 2, cell number 3, and cell number 4, something like that, right? Okay, so each cell will focus on a family of a product. Each cell. So in each cell, normally they form as a small flow shop to produce a family of the product. So they can enjoy for this cellular shop. They can enjoy both benefit from job shop and flow shop. For the flow shop, the focus the focusing point of the flow shop, normally they focus on the efficiency of the system. And for the job shop, they focus on the variety of the product that they can offer. So cellular shop is in the middle between these two. They can enjoy middle or moderate uh, cost saving or high productivity of the flow shop, and they can enjoy moderate in terms of their variety of the job shop. We will come back to this slide later. You can see here, this is a whole factory. Okay, this factory produce shirt, or maybe men's shirt, women's shirt, or kid clothing, something like that. Instead of producing using one individual line, okay, for each system, for each shop, for each system. In this case, they divide the shop into small part. That is cell number 1, they produce maybe men's shirt. Cell number 2, the family of the product is women's shirt. And cell number 3, they produce kid clothing. In each cell, okay, they don't produce just only one product. Okay, they don't produce just only one item. So they produce a variety of the item, but in the same family. Like men's shirt, you can see that the color is different. Okay, the pattern is different, but maybe it is still men's shirt, something like that. This is called the family of the product. All right. Okay, so you can see here different form, okay, different benefit that will be given from different system. For the flow shop, as I told you earlier, the focusing of the flow shop is they could offer you a low variety, okay, offer you a low variety of the product. So very low flexibility, but they can give you low unit cost in high volume and high productivity. This is the main emphasis of the flow shop. Okay, low unit cost, high productivity. But the downside of the flow shop is low variety, low flexibility. This is 2, right? Okay, the 2, that is the downside of the flow shop. But for the job shop here, they focus on producing high variety of the product, right? Okay, so in order to produce high variety of the product, they cannot set up a specialized production line for this product, because they will change very often. Okay, so the unit cost is going to be high, the volume that they can produce is going to be low, and the productivity is going to be low. So this shop, the job shop, is focusing on high variety or high flexibility, but the downside is, the disadvantage of this system is high unit cost, low volume, low productivity. But cellular manufacturing system is in the middle between these two systems. They can enjoy both benefit of the system, but not as much as both system. All right. Okay, so this is the thing that you need to memorize in your midterm exam. Okay. The last one is the project. Project normally produce one of a kind product on a massive scale. Okay, a big scale, right? Similar to this construction site, labor and equipment are brought to each site rather than located at a fixed production facility. I would like to explain you about the similarity and differentiate between job shop and project. Suppose we are looking at the job shop first. Okay, job shop and project is quite similar in terms of producing maybe one of a kind product. They could offer flexibility in terms of the system to produce whatever customer want. Okay, but for the factory, for the job shop factory, the raw material come to the factory, labor and equipment is here, and then finished good come out of the factory. But if you look at the project, labor and equipment are out of the construction site, and then it's moved to the construction site, and once it's finished, labor and equipment are moving out of the construction site. But for the raw material here, raw material moving in the construction site, and once it's finished, the project complete, the raw material and whatever, okay, is still in the construction site or in the finished project. So please remember about these two pictures because it's going to be appear in your midterm exam as well. Okay? So now we are ready to move to the form of the transformation system, the first form of the transformation system, that is flowchart.